Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the exciting time on Wellbeing. Of course, you know that on this particular show we talk health and we bring you valuable information. My name is Emedion James. And yes, on today's show, we're talking about something that is very, very important. And just so you know, tomorrow, the 11th of October, happens to be World Mental Health Day. And our conversation today will be centered on mental health. There's a lot to talk about. You know, when we talk about mental health, it goes beyond what you know. You know, there are different types. And because of time, we'll not really delve deep into the conversation. We will just introduce the conversation today, and on subsequent time, because this month happens to be World Mental Health Day, we will try as much as possible to make sure that every Thursday by this time we are going to, every Thursday by this time, we'll pick a particular mental health illness and then we are going to talk about it. But today will just be a general introduction of the show. I told you my name already, and of course, if you've known this show, we like to talk to experts who will bring the right insights into today's conversation. So I'm not just doing guesswork, and we are not just doing guesswork, and we are not just throwing just anything in your face. We will actually talk to a psychologist, someone who has been, in this field for a long time. He will come and debunk basic things that you thought was mental health illness, but was never mental illness. He will make us know what is mental health and what is mental health illness, and several other things that we'll talk about today. So I'm just going to go on a break and give you time to go pick your pen and your diary, because trust me, there is always something to learn on this show, Wellbeing. So I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Hello and welcome back. This is Wellbeing, a health show that centers on your well-being as a person. I said it earlier that on today's show we are going to talk about mental illness. Tomorrow happens to be World Mental Health Day. So when we say mental health, what do we mean? What is the difference between a mental illness and mental health? On today's show, I'm very privileged to host Ms. Rejoice as she guides us. She's not in the studio, but we actually had a recording of her. So from time to time, I'll be switching over to Ms. Rejoice to give clarity to any question. And just in case you have a question, all you have to do is to go to a social media page and type your question, and we will pick it up and find your answers and give you the answers that you need. So right about now, let's turn the page to Ms. Rejoice, a psychologist, as she guides us on what is mental health. And when they say mental health and mental health illnesses, what do they mean? Are they the same thing? Let's find out.
What exactly is mental health? I actually do love this question, as it will bring a lot of clarity around the word mental health. I personally feel the word mental health is one of the most misunderstood words out there, as some persons don't really have an understanding of what the word means. So whenever the word mental health comes up, there is this no, there's this certain kind of, there's this way we picture it. I don't really have the right words to explain it, but we have this bias towards the word mental health, maybe because of the kind of culture or the kind of environments we find ourselves. Now, going back to the question, what is mental health? Mental health basically is the state of one's emotional, physical, psychological, and social well-being. Sorry, I said physical. It has nothing to do with the physical, basically, even though you can find its manifestation physically. Mental health simply refers to the state of one's emotional, psychological, and social well-being, and it affects how a person think, or a group of persons think. It affects how they feel, It affects how they behave, react to things, how they handle stress, and how they also relate with others, as well as how they make decision. Yes. And just like every other person has a physical health, everybody here on earth has a mental health. How is mental health different from mental illness? Well, like I earlier said, mental health is the state of one's emotional, psychological, and social well being. Now, mental illness is a condition, yes, or it refers affects the way a person thinks, the way a person behaves, the person's mood. Yes, mental illness is actually a problematic condition or problematic conditions that affects your mental health. Yes, just like you can say malaria is affecting my health, mental illnesses or illness are those things that affect your mental health. Yes, and they also affect your ability to respond to life challenges, as well as handle or manage your emotions or stress effectively. So mental illnesses or mental illness are those things that affect your mental health. Let me put it in a simple way. Mental illnesses are those things that affect your mental health. In Nigeria, some of the most common mental health condition we have, I think the first on the list should be depression. Yes. And what is depression? Depression is simply persistent sadness, hopelessness, or loss of interest in normal activities. These normal activities refer to activities that you actually used to find pleasurable. Yes, when you find yourself losing interest in things that normal, these are the things I used to do. When you just find a person who, for example, a person who likes going out with friends, all of a sudden you see the person withdrawing back into their shell, and then it's something that is persistent, not just a once in a while thing. When it becomes persistent, yes, that's when we could say depression. Then second on the list for me should be anxiety disorders. And what is an anxiety disorder? It's basically the excessive fear or worry about one's life. Excessive, yes, it is very, very normal to be worried and to have fears, but when it becomes excessive, like so much of it, that's an anxiety disorder. Now another on the list, the third one for me, the list has nothing to do with any research or something. This is basically for me what I can see with my two eyes. The next on the list for me should be substance use disorders, where this substance use disorder. These substances could actually be prescriptive and non-prescriptive substances. Prescriptive like opioids, non-prescriptive like alcohol, marijuana, and other drugs. Yes, and we also have psychotic disorders. Examples, we have schizophrenia, and this particular disorder has to do with distorted thinking, hallucination, delusion, seeing what only you can see, talking to people that no one can see. I feel this is also a part of the common mental illnesses we see in Nigeria. And we also have bipolar disorder, which has to do with alternative episodes of extreme moods. This means this person is excessively happy, like you're over the moon. The next minute, the person is so depressed. And we also have post-traumatic stress disorder, that's PTSD, and it has to do with emotional distress that follows exposure to traumatic events such as violence, accidents. Yes, post-traumatic stress disorder, I think that's also a part of some mental illness we have in this country. So now the fourth question,
You can't even imagine what we are discussing right now in the studio. Tomorrow happens to be World Mental Health Day, and the quick question is, are you okay? So if by peradventure you see me tomorrow in your dreams, or you see me this night in your dreams, and I'm asking you, how far, scale of 1 to 10, where can you grade or rate your mental health? I'm not saying that you are mad. I'm just saying that, look, are you happy? How is your heartbeat? Is it beating normally, or you are just thinking about tomorrow? Anyways, thank you so much, Dr. Rejoice, even though she doesn't like to be called a doctor. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Rejoice, for that clarity. But now the next question is, who is commonly affected, or who commonly, which age grade comes down with this mental illness? Because looking at statistics, according to Nigerians Insurance Health Report, it is said that mostly women, and women who are married or unemployed, have the highest depressive symptoms or rate in the southwest region. So over to you, Dr. Rejoice. How true is this? At what age can someone start saying, look, I'm beginning to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signs. I think I need to go to a therapist?
What are the early signs? What are the early signs? I'm actually repeating that word because, speaking from the psychological we have a lot of mental illnesses. We have quite a number of them, and these mental illnesses have symptoms that are peculiar to them, and you can't generically say, okay, generally these are the symptoms, this is what you're supposed to look out for, this is that. But I believe as an individual, what you should know how you behave, how you respond to things and everything. So when there is a slight deviation from normal, I think that could actually be a symptom. You know yourself, you know how you behave, you know how you react. When you sit down and you see a pattern of abnormalities, for example, you're someone who likes to go out, someone who is always happy, always excited, and all of a sudden you notice this pattern of decline and the whole thing. You just find yourself withdrawing from people, you just find yourself feeling low persistently when it is a slight and consistent deviation from normal, then I think that should be a symptom. And when you see yourself seeing things and hearing things that no any other person is, I'm saying these things because all the mental illnesses I mentioned earlier, they have ways they can be diagnosed, and psychologists don't diagnose people without falling back to what we call our psychological Bible. That's the DSM-5. It contains a number of mental conditions and symptoms to look out for. So there is no generic symptom. No, there are no generic symptoms. So just pay attention to yourself or whoever is involved, and once you notice a deviation, a persistent deviation from normal, then you actually have symptoms. You actually have something to look out for. Yes. And who can be affected? Well, can anyone develop a mental challenge? Yes, anyone can develop a mental challenge, regardless of your gender, your age, your social class. Yes, the rich can have mental illnesses. The poor too can have mental health condition. Just like a rich man can be sick, just like a rich man can develop typhoid, a rich man can develop malaria. Yes, anyone can develop a mental illness. How much do stress, poverty, and unemployment contribute to mental illnesses? When you come to this Nigeria, stress to be particular, this daily hustle, trying to survive, this, I'm trying to make it, I'm trying to make ends meet. It has a way of contributing, because you see depression when you can no longer get what you want, you're not getting that thing you're looking for, you find yourself thinking. All of a sudden, you just find yourself feeling like, I'm not good enough, there's nothing beautiful about life, nothing good can come out of me. Stress in particular has a way of making you anxious. That's anxiety, excessive worry. Like you're just worried about where can I get a job? Where can I? That was like when I was asked to mention mental illnesses that is very, very common in Nigeria. Depression was top on my list because we have a lot of people stressed, worried, and we have a lot of people stressed about making ends meet. And because you cannot make the ends meet, you find yourself thinking and feeling so hopeless, worthless, feeling guilty, this persistent sadness. You go out for a job interview, you did not get it consistently. And I also mentioned anxiety, which has to do with worry. When ends don't meet, you find yourself thinking about what your family can eat, what your family will eat. So stress, that is the way stress contributes to mental illnesses. And now talking about poverty, when you're poor, you don't have money to access healthcare, you don't have money to eat the right thing. It has a way of affecting your mental health, because there's a particular thing I read somewhere and it says you are what you eat. When you're not feeding properly, there are a lot of nutrients that your body is lacking. And there's something we call when it comes to factors that contribute to mental illnesses, there's one of the factors are biological factors, and amongst one of those factors we have what we call neurotransmitter imbalance. When there is an imbalance in the neurotransmitter, it can lead to a particular, because there are different neurotransmitters are different or responsible for different things. So if you should have a shortage of dopamine, your way to a mental condition. If you have a shortage of neurotransmitter, it can actually affect your mental health. And unemployment, I've basically spoken about that under stress. Yes, when you don't have a job, frustration is like your neighbor. You feel so frustrated, you feel so hopeless, and some persons even fall into substance abuse out of the whole frustration of not getting it.
So my mental health right now just shifted from 8 to a 10, thanks to my head of programs. So if you listen carefully to Dr. Rejoice, she talked about basic things that could make you fall into a mental illness condition. One of the mental illnesses that she mentioned was depression, and depression is very, very common not just in Nigeria, in the world. And the shocking thing is that the age grade is just so funny. I mean, why is a 15-year-old depressed? Why is a 16-year-old depressed? I can remember that when I was 16 or when I was 15, I was literally still submitting list of, things that I needed from my parents. So I can't relate when I'm seeing age brackets like 15, 16 depressed. What are you really thinking about? But then I remember that we fall in love in this our generation. We fall in love too quickly, and I mean it will not pass heartbreak. But this is it. I am telling you today. I don't have time, so I'm be running up very soon. But I'm going to prepare a special report concerning mental health. So I would like you to stick to Spectrum TV, as you know, the report to be played, especially tomorrow concerning the World Mental Health Day. I would like to leave you with this saying: mental health is different from mental illness. You have to pay attention to yourself. If you notice that you are always, I was having a conversation with a colleague and I said that we should pay attention to people they gave 100%, and we now notice that the same people are, they're just, I don't care. I mean, they don't give so much energy again. Instead of us to laugh at those people, we should look at their mental health. Are they fine? Are they happy? Are they doing well? How is the situation at home? So in other words, if you're around someone and you know that the person was, is more of an agile, happy person, and all of a sudden she's just withdrawn, she's just sad, or somebody around someone who lost the mother, the father, or maybe going through heartbreak, because these days a lot of relationship breakfasts are being served. Don't laugh, don't make a jest of it. Call the person and talk to the person. And you too, if you know you are somebody that you were happy, but you know you are no longer happy. I promise that the whole of this month I'm going to pay attention to each mental illness, and we'll discuss it and see the way forward, down to bipolar, depression and all. So please try as much as possible to take good care of yourself. I have a friend that says when she's tired she will go to the restaurant and eat good food. Please, in case you are tired, you're exhausted, instead of committing suicide or dropping into depression, why not just go to a place and eat good food first? After eating, we'll now decide if it is depression that is doing you or it is lack of money. I love you so much, and I wish above all things that you stay happy and you stay loved. Apologies, we can't take the whole series on